Haunted Hangover presents Haunted Hall.
Welcome to Haunted Hangovers, Haunted Hall, the show where we celebrate our favorite horror movies watched the way they were meant to be on physical media. I'm Louie.
Well, I would argue that they're meant to be seen in a theater.
Yes. They're meant to be seen in the theater, but
yes,
you know what I mean. I'm Louie. Joined by
and I'm
Manny.
everyone's favorite pedantic co-host.
There he is. He is there, of course. Had to cut me off. Verify that there's theaters. They still exist. Yes, they're around. They're around in 2026, luckily. I don't know for how much longer.
Dude.
I know. It's rough. It's rough these days.
I don't care, man. I'm going to be going. As long as they exist, I'm going to go to the theater.
Same here. Just the way things are looking. I don't know how much longer. I mean physical media too. You know, as another year, a new year comes, we get closer to the demise of movie theaters and Netflix. Physical media.
Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix. I don't know what's going on over there, guys. Not looking
good. At this
good.
point, I'll look up a movie on Letterboxd and I'll see that it's on Netflix and I don't want to watch it.
When it's only on Netflix.
It's only on Netflix.
On Netflix.
Literally, there were 3 movies yesterday. I was like, oh, it's on Netflix. Oh, this is on Netflix. Nope, I'm not fucking watching them.
Damn, that's it. Manny's boycotting any film. Do not have your film only available on Netflix. Manny will not be watching.
Well, you know what? It's specifically the Netflix movies.
Yeah.
Because just the way that they do them and the things they how it's come out, how they do dialogue and they want the dialogue repeated at every couple minutes and it makes everything unbearable. Like Stranger Things was just impossible to watch for me because of that.
Yeah.
It just frustrated me to no end listening to them constantly repeat themselves.
I mean, it's unfortunate, but it's the way of the future for cinema, which is a bummer, but we just have to deal with it while we're above ground, man.
Fuck that. I don't have to deal with that shit.
I mean, you don't have to deal with it, but you have to.
I don't have to deal with it.
Well, you do like Shudder.
Yes.
Explain that one. What's the difference? So a Shudder original compared to a Netflix film for the listeners.
It's the governing principle behind Netflix that they have no interest in theatrical.
Yes.
They have no interest in the longevity and the life of a film. They don't care if you love a film that they released 10 years from now. They don't care. All they care is that you like it now.
They make content is what.
That's it.
They don't make
it's
films.
Single-serving content. They make it for now, and if you forget it in a year, they don't care. It means nothing to them. And now that they're really close and that they're apparently buying Warner Brothers, they have full intention of chopping Warner Brothers theatrical. And Warner Brothers is the largest studio the largest theatrical studio. And they want to chop it. They want to get rid of it.
I mean, I know we're opening the show here, has nothing to do with the film we're going to be talking about. But yeah, considering we love physical media, which is also dying. That's a topic we've discussed previously, I'm pretty sure, in these Haunted Hall episodes. But yeah, the movie theaters is depressing. It's funny. And a quick tangent, we'll be getting into the film. I went to go see Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair, which for a very long time, the only way you could see that was at screenings. There was no physical release of it. It was not streaming. I was worried for a little while that maybe he'll sell it to Netflix, because I know Hateful Eight's on there. There's an extended version of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, it's special that you could only watch if you bought a ticket and went to the theater to see it. Now, if you want to watch Kill Bill, regardless of how you feel about the film, I know Manny's not a big fan of those movies, but regardless of the way you feel about them,
they're not bad movies. They're just not for me.
They're not for Manny.
Just nothing. They're just I don't dig the style. It's fine.
Yeah. But it's cool that for a while there, a few years now, I mean, over, I think, a decade, the only way were these special screenings. And then recently AMC, I guess, teamed up with him and whoever else to release it for a limited time in theater. And that was a great experience, being in the theater for almost 5 hours with an intermission at an AMC. You can fill up your popcorn a second time, soda and all that stuff. So stuff like that, that's what is great about the movies, and even going to see it, if the occasional 3D or IMAX film, those are special types of screenings, or 35 millimeter or 70 millimeter. We can go on and on, but you can only do that in a movie theater, at a theater.
Yep.
Can't do that at home. You know what I mean? So it is sad, man. It is crazy that, Netflix getting Warner Brothers. I know Paramount wanted them for a while there, but there's some drama with Paramount too. So, I mean, it is what it is. We got to just sort of see what happens in the future, but it is looking bleak, unfortunately. If that last season of Stranger Things tells us anything, is Netflix is no bueno. So
it's fucking. It's. I could go on. I could go on.
I know. But on to bigger and brighter things. Manny and I are finally covering a film we've teased for like 2 years now. I think we've been wanting to do this for a while. A special release we were gonna do it. Then they announced a special release a year or 2 years ago now. 2024.
Something like that.
I don't. Yeah, we'll get into the nooks and crannies here in a second. There was gonna be a special release of it, so we pushed it. We were like, we're gonna wait because we want
I went to saw the Beyond live.
Yes,
and they did the 4K screening, and that was it was easily 2 or 3 years ago.
So after seeing that whole thing play out, we had done an episode in 2023, November 2023. Our Thanksgiving Fulci feast with Rob from Stabby Road, where we sort of hinted at wanting to cover the movies. That was 2023, so it was 2 years ago. No, dude, almost 2 years. So if you haven't listened to that episode, that was a really fun episode where we talk a lot about Fulci and how much we love Fulci, and then we focus on some of we picked our favorite death scenes from his movies. It was a really, really just kind of laid back, chill episode. And in this film comes up a bunch. We mentioned this movie a bunch, and it's taken us this long to finally dedicate an entire episode to it, and that is 1981's The Beyond.
Woe be unto him who opens one of the 7 gateways to hell, because through that gateway, evil will invade the world.
So, funny enough, The Beyond is one of those movies that Manny and I can agree we love. There's no denying it. Yeah, we both. This is a movie where I think there's no discrepancies between us. We both really love The Beyond. Hence why we've been wanting to do this for a few years now, dedicated. And the great timing, 2026, first Haunted Hall of the new year. We're finally,
good way to start the year.
Great way to start the year. Crack open this release of The Beyond. Now, some history with this film. Personally, for me, and I know for Manny. Now, it's a little fuzzy because Manny and I have known each other a long time. We've said it on the show before. I think I saw this movie with you for the first time.
Man.
I'm 99% sure. I don't think I knew what it was. So this must have been like 2002 or 3, around that time. So I was a teenager. And this was at a time when Anchor Bay, and we'll get into releases and history and all that in a second, but this was when Anchor Bay, like the heyday of Anchor Bay, releasing all of Fulci's movies, Evil Dead, more deep cut stuff, that Italian shit that I had never heard
Spit
of.
on Your Grave.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So the things
I have a
that
couple of those new clamshells that they did at that time.
The tins, which
the
were
tins and I have 3 of the tins and a bunch of the clamshells. It wasn't like the standard like Disney style clamshell. It was like this weird closed off clamshell,
Yeah, they did one for Halloween 4. They did one for The Beyond. They did one for a couple of the movies. But I just remember during this time, early 2000s, Anchor Bay was the horror distribution physical media company. They were the ones distributing. They were distributing newer films too at the time. But all the re-releases of stuff like this, House by the Cemetery, basically a lot of the Fulci stuff, I was exposed to it because of the Anchor Bay releases, which I'm pretty sure you had a copy of the initial DVD You have
Yeah,
the
that's-
tin,
That's the
which
tin
you're
right
holding
there.
right there.
That's the tin
and-
box.
I think we watched that together.
I'm sure
For
it
the
was- it
first
had to be
time.
this. Yeah, this is the only DVD copy
Yeah.
I ever had. No,
So
I had the Seven Doors of Death Diamond Entertainment release.
yes, which
Yeah.
I have a funny story about that in a second. But that was the first time I had watched The Beyond. So I was exposed to the Seven Doors of Death version after the fact. I didn't even know about that until I think years later, that there was and again, the funny story, I might as well get into it now. So The Beyond has a weird release history. We always touch on the releases. So it came out in Italy, and I have the dates and stuff here for when we get into the synopsis and breakdown of the film. But when it was originally released in the US, it wasn't released as The Beyond. It was released, as Manny said, Seven Doors of Death in 1983. That's how it was released in theaters.
Okay.
So that's how people saw it. It got VHS release, obviously, and even DVD releases, like you said. What was it? Diamond? You just said
Diamond. Yeah.
Diamond release of not The Beyond, Seven Doors of Death.
Mhm.
I remember seeing. So I have a weird memory. Again, collecting physical media. There used to be a store here in New York. It was on 14th Street, I think, and 8th Avenue or 7th Avenue. Forget the name of it. The store is long gone now, and they would sell all the old VHS tapes, because at this time they were just getting rid of VHS tapes. It was on its way out in a couple of years, and DVD was taking over. I have a vivid memory of going into that store, because I would go in and pick up obscure horror movies I'd never seen, and seeing a VHS of Seven Doors of Death, but not realizing it was The Beyond.
Yeah.
And being confused, because we had watched The Beyond on the Anchor Bay Grindhouse Releasing tin that you just showed off, and looking at this VHS and being like, what the hell is this? Why is the blind girl on the cover from The Beyond? And the cover itself was really cool because it had like an animated zombie on it, almost like a comic book style. I don't know if you remember the cover. It has like it almost looks like it belongs in Creepshow in a way. And I always thought that kind of Creepshow-esque animated cover was really cool. And I'm still to this day upset that I did not buy that. The VHS was like $3. And apparently now, like, that's a sought-after VHS tape because it's very difficult to find. And at one point, the Seven Doors of Death version of The Beyond, there was no other way to really see it except for that DVD release and that VHS.
That it? The red one?
That's one of the covers. That's one of the covers from it. Yeah,
I didn't know
one.
that they actually did a VHS. So
There was a
video.
VHS of it. I'm pretty sure that VHS was the original. The VHS I saw, and we're talking, this is over 20 years ago. So the VHS, it was a different release entirely. And that always stood out to me. That kind of cover art, that image.
That.
No, yeah. There's a ton of The Beyond has great cover art in general. Almost every poster that exists of the film is fantastic. So, Seven Doors of Death was a heavily edited version of The Beyond with a brand new score. So they took the original Fabio Frizzi, who he scored the original, the 1981 Italian Beyond. There it is. Man, he's holding up the disc. That is the animated face. Yeah. I'll have pictures up.
This. Yeah.
I'll have images up for people. Yeah, that people can see, have more reference of what I'm talking about. But the Seven Doors of Death was heavily edited version for the US with a lot of the gore removed and Fabio Frizzi's score completely eliminated, and new musicians came in and scored the project. It's an interesting watch because even though it's the same film, minus the gore and this
it changes things though.
It feels like it feels like a weird experiment, like almost like let's just experiment with The Beyond and try to make it more not PG because it's still a horror movie and it's still violent, but toning it down heavily. And for many years, that was the only way to watch The Beyond. The release initially in 1983, and then this DVD and VHS of Seven Doors of Death. Then in 1998, we have Grindhouse Releasing, and then Rolling Thunder, which is Tarantino's distribution company. He would kind of resurrect and re-release these old forgotten films in theaters on prints. They re-released the film that year, and it was the first time American audiences were able to see The Beyond in its original intent, like the original version of the movie, the way Fulci intended the film to be released, not this chopped up to shit Seven Doors of Death version. So it's funny that
just before he died too.
Yeah, it was like right before. So it's what's funny about that is I going back to the main story here of my first time seeing it, I never watched. I from the beginning I've only ever seen the original 1981, the Italian version of Fulci's version of The Beyond, until years later where I finally watched Seven Doors of Death, and there's no comparison. Like the original's so much better.
Yeah.
But yeah, Grindhouse Releasing, they always do killer stuff. They've come up on the show before. We've talked about all their releases, and they have special screenings. We talked about going to see Cannibal Holocaust because I think they have the rights to that film, and they're the ones that always release it. We talked about the experience of going to see that film, one of their screenings. We mentioned it. We're kind of reiterating here, but in the Thanksgiving Fulci Feast episode, I know we talked about, you hinted at it earlier, seeing Fabio Frizzi live and him putting together a composer's cut, which we'll get into that too in a second, of The Beyond, and then him performing it in front of an audience, which was a great experience. Just going to see that film with a brand new score, basically, is what that version is when you see him live or when you watch the Blu-ray of it with that version of the film. Now, you mentioned it. This is the same tin release you have, Manny, but this is just the regular schmegular DVD, Anchor Bay DVD, which is so interesting. I'm guessing Grindhouse Releasing has the rights to it, they have, and then Anchor Bay distributed it.
Probably, yeah.
Because now it looks like Grindhouse Releasing is just releasing it themselves. Like there's no Anchor Bay on this super duper version we're about to.
I don't even know if Anchor
into.
Bay still exists.
Are they done? Anchor Bay? You might be right.
I can't recall the last Anchor Bay release. They might just be done.
They might have went under. Bummer.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you're right. I didn't even think about that until right now. Whatever happened to Anchor Bay? Shit. I should hold on to some of these releases.
They probably got bought out by somebody.
Stars bought them.
Probably.
I think Stars bought them.
Someone
like
Stars or like the Weinstein Company or someone bought them
I'm pretty sure I think Stars bought them because then later on they would release a bunch of newer films under the Anchor Bay banner, but then it was a Stars company. I'm pretty sure that's what happened to Anchor Bay a little later. But you're right.
Stars,
it was Stars. They haven't released their original way of releasing old horror films. They haven't done that in years. It's been years.
Back then, they were Video Treasures.
Yes.
In the 80s, it was Video Treasures. That's who they were.
And then it became Anchor Bay. And that takes us to the monster release of this film, which is another reason why Manny and I have sort of postponed this episode. Is he got his copy. I had to wait another 5 months to get my copy because I got the second run of this release, which was a bummer because I didn't realize that when he ordered his initially and I ordered mine was two different drops of this box set. So this is Grindhouse Releasing's ultimate 6-disc deluxe edition of The Beyond. It is a monster of a release. There is a lot in this, and
coolest part right there.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get into that too.
Man,
very few films warrant a release. There aren't a lot of movies that need a release with 6 discs. One movie getting 6 different discs and different versions and special features, and us waiting to finally dive into The Beyond as a film and just talk about it and how much we love it. that too, we needed some time to let this marinate and kind of go through it. You know, we're not going to touch every single part of this release because we'll be here for 3 hours. There is so much in this box set. So I'm just going to highlight a couple of things in this ultimate release of the Beyond. Again, kind of going back, one of the main highlights for this, besides it being a 4K, first 4K release of the film, right, Manny?
Yeah.
The first like UHD release of the Beyond is, and I think you mentioned it earlier in the show, the composer's cut, which I mentioned before from Fabio Frizzi. That was kind of the selling point, and that's when we both found out. You mentioned at that show, in the intro of our show, at that concert, that they were releasing. It hadn't come out yet. They were just mentioning. I think he mentioned that Fabio Frizzi.
Yeah, that was years ago. That was like 2022 or so.
Yeah, I remember him mentioning it, that they were putting together this like crazy release of the Beyond, including his composer's cut of the film. And I think it was a year later where they even mentioned like there was any like release date for it.
Yeah,
because I don't remember.
It was one of those things when they said that they're going to screen a 4K cut, 4K. I was like, okay, well, clearly they're going to release it. They wouldn't scan it and restore it in 4K if they weren't going to do it. Yeah. You know, so it was like, okay, there were a couple other versions that popped up. Grindhouse has done a few versions of it, a few Blu-rays of it. But this tin I haven't bought. I had this DVD, and essentially when Grindhouse did the Blu-ray, they had already said they had a 4K restoration of it, and the Blu-rays were coming from there. And I was like, well, then I'm just going to wait for the 4K. I'm not going to buy the 2, 3, 4 versions they did in the middle. Like, same thing. I have Cannibal Holocaust. I got the DVD and I got the Blu-ray, and now there's a 4K coming out. It's like, I kind of wish I had just waited.
And I'm right there with you. I have not bought another version of this movie since this DVD, and then went straight to the ginormous box set.
You know what, too, though? And honestly, the DVD looked really nice, too.
No, it
still looked good. It wasn't like a crappy VHS version just thrown on disc. It still looked good.
Grindhouse Releasing always does a fantastic job with their releases. Like Pieces and, like you mentioned, Cannibal Holocaust, Cannibal Ferox. Even the DVDs are pretty solid. They look good. Cat in the Brain, like all these movies. Yes. And these are all films I'm sure in the future we'll do full episodes on, too. But they always do a fantastic job. So even an upgrade from like DVD, Blu-ray to 4K, and I could tell you, dude, I popped in the DVD just to see it, just as a reference. You could see how much cleaner and sharper it looks. Like I popped the DVD into my PS5, and then I put the 4K into it, and I was like, oh shit, you could just see the difference. And the original, again, the DVD still looks solid, but you can see the difference. It's obvious when comparing the two. And on the topic of Fabio Frizzi, one of my favorite extras in this set is there's an interview with Fabio Frizzi, and it's going into like his approach with the composer's cut. It's like a 30-minute interview. He is super charismatic for an older Italian man.
He is.
I was like enamored with what this man was saying. I sat there for 30 minutes.
He's a storyteller.
Exactly. Fantastic. I was like, damn, Fabio Frizzi.
He does it live too.
Yeah. When we saw him live, I remember him being really charismatic, but seeing him in this really kind of plain studio space, just sitting there with a camera pointed at him with really harsh lighting, super bright. It's like there was no finesse in the setup of this camera setup to do this interview. You can just tell. But regardless, he goes into all the details about his relationship with Fulci and how he wanted to honor Fulci's vision, even though he was going to alter some of the music in the film for his version, for the composer's cut. Just a great interview. It was one of my favorite interviews, and I skimmed through all the kind of older archival features that are in the set as well, but it's just a good interview because there aren't, even in the previous releases, from what I remember, there isn't a lot of Fabio Frizzi featured in the release itself, in prior releases. So I just thought that was really cool. Like, it was just overall just an awesome interview and version of the film, because I will admit I've watched The Beyond 3 times in the last like 2 weeks because I watched 3 different versions of it.
Yeah.
So,
you know what it is too with Freezy? It's also that he felt like he did the movie. He did this in 81, right? He did it in 80, 81, you know?
Yeah.
30 years later, looking 30, 35, even 40 years later, it's one of those things where, like, as a musician, bands do it too. They look back on their old work and they say, I can do better now, you know? And it's not about changing it. It's just about, like, again, 40 years of experience and new talent and new ability, especially with the technology of how much better, like, the keyboards sound today, and recording, synthesizers sounding better. You know, I mean, hey, we even did it even for Blood Slaughter. Me and Ray, when we did, we've done newer versions of the Blood Slaughter theme because he's just a better musician now than he was 15 years ago when we made it. You know, so it's like, oh, I know how to layer this better, and I got a better idea. Let's use this pad instead of that pad because the frequencies cut through better. You know, those are simple little things that you can do, and especially if he's going to tour and you're going to see the film as a 4K, brand new, like, it's going to look as good, if not better, than when it hit theaters in 1981. You know, then it's kind of like this should have a special presentation to it. Let's bring, he knows how to create emotion better. You know, everything about him as a composer is just better now than he was then. And bringing all of that extra years of experience to the film on top of the technology of making the film look better than it ever has before. It's like, it's a perfect compliment.
For sure. I mean, he explains it in the interview. He talks about, specifically, I remember him mentioning the tarantula scene and how in the original film, the music has like no oomph to it. It's really simple and just sounds like, I think he describes it as like hitting keys or hitting a hammer on like on the keys or something like that. And that he went back and they composed more organized music for that. Same goes for the opening when the guys are inside that little rowboat going to the Warlock. There was no music. It was like a piano strings and there was nothing. They wrote brand new music for the intro. So it's like,
have you ever heard have you ever heard Maynard James Keenan says that he's heard from fans over the last few years that people complain that he doesn't scream like he used to. He doesn't, you know, he sounds different. And he says, that's because I know how to scream now. It's like when we did the first 2 albums, I was just screaming. And little did I know, I was destroying my voice. Now I know how to get that volume and the sound without destroying my voice. But that's why it sounds the way it did, you know? Because he's like, I wasn't doing it properly. Now I'm doing it correctly. And I can scream all night long and feel no fatigue. It's that same kind of thing. He's just kind of hitting keys, getting this weird sound out of it. Now he knows how to purposely create that sound without just randomly slamming keys, because then when you're going to replay it, you almost can't recreate it because you don't know exactly what you did in that moment of just like, oh, let's try this, you know? So recreation becomes difficult.
I think it's cool. The main takeaway for me with Fabio Frizzi, and I would even say this with John Carpenter. I've seen both of them live. John Carpenter I've seen twice.
He does the Halloween theme differently.
He redoes all of his themes. He's done them. He's redone them
because he's better. He knows.
I love that these guys were like 30, 40 years old when these movies came out. Now they're in their 70s, touring and re-releasing music and new music for these classic films. And they're, you know, older men, grandpas basically, and they're able to tour in like, it's almost like a second life, a new career in the history, even though they're, you know, up there in age. I just think it's cool. Like, this entire release seems like it was put together because of Fabio Frizzi's involvement. Hence, there's a lot of emphasis and focus on the composer's cut. So I just think that's cool. That's my favorite takeaway from this latest release of The Beyond.
I also think that 25 years later, 25 years after Fulci's death, Freezy is really the only real
Yeah.
like creative partner in the film that could do something. So it's like, how much can we change of the film without Fulci? Okay, you really can't do much with the film and cleaning that up, but you can always do more with the music because Freezy was there and worked on it with him. So he knows what Fulci wanted.
Yeah, and he had a relationship
as well
with
as
him.
doing his own thing. Yes.
No, of course. There was a relationship there. He talks about it in his interview. He discusses his friendship.
But we're not watching the interview right now. We're trying to sell this for Grindhouse for them.
Grindhouse, yeah. But yeah, I just think it's great. I just think it's a fantastic kind of just overall packaging with the composer's cut, his interview, and you get the CD. You get a CD with the music by itself. That's one of the discs included in the set. Moving on, we do get, and I want to mention it here, I'm going to butcher this guy's name. Apparently, he's like a Fulci scholar. He's written a book about him, I think a documentary about him. His name is Simon Scafidi. I'm destroying.
I don't have his name in front of me.
I'm going to destroy his name. It's an Italian name. It's an hour-long interview. It's like an hour and 5. It's almost as long as The Beyond. Like I'm sure our episode is going to be. And he goes into every detail about this film, like every nook and cranny, the behind the scenes, of how it was made, the writing process, Fulci's direction, when it was released, how it was botched with the 7 Doors of Death version and edited to shit. So I think that's also another solid supplemental interview in the set that I thought was really interesting. I will admit, no offense to Simon, he's not as charismatic as Fabio Frizzi, but he is very intellectual and can articulate how this film was created. He knows his Fulci shit. I mean, the guy wrote a book, and I think a documentary it's mentioned, and that's just just a great interview too. It is a good interview.
Simone
found it.
Scafati.
Listen, man,
Simone Scafati.
I'm American. I can't
Scafidi.
say Italian. Scafidi. There you go.
Simone Scafidi.
You
got to sing it. Simone Scafidi.
There you go.
You got to sing
Not
it.
Italian, so I just can't do it. There's a ton of other interviews and archival features.
Margaretti.
There you go. You got Italian in you. You'll be able to do it better than me. But yeah, there's a ton of interviews, archival features. All the stuff from the Anchor Bay release is included in different. There's 2 discs of just bonus features and little Easter eggs like hidden. So if you search around, you can highlight things off screen.
Highlight the Ibon and one of them.
Yeah, one of them is like showing you what the sets look like today, the house, which I know you went to. You talked about that in a previous episode. You see what the houses, like both houses look like in New Orleans today. They show you the infamous bridge, the road, a bunch of stuff. That was a cool little hidden extra in the Blu-ray. There's just so much. We could be here all day. They interview the actress that plays Emily.
You mean we're not planning on being here all day?
No, we're not. No.
I mean, I got comfortable. I got myself a drink.
We're gonna go into every single interview.
I ordered pizza. It's on its way.
It's on its way. Every single interview. Like there's obviously interviews with Catriona McCall and David Warbeck and Fulci's got 2 archival interviews from conventions. Like he didn't get to do a lot of this. He didn't get to savor the fruits of his labor with the Beyond and all of his films. So yeah, you can skim through all of that if you buy this release. And we mentioned the 7 Doors of Death. That version is available here as well on a separate disc.
I think that's still a DVD.
Yeah, it's a DVD. Yep.
That's just the DVD. So it's basically the 7 Doors of Death. It's a DVD. It's basically the 7 Doors of Death,
only
the
DVD
same
in the
Diamond
set.
Entertainment release. Yeah.
Time has run out. Death is erupting. Violent, berserk, untamed. Can anyone survive? Enter, if you dare, and see 7 Doors of Death.
It looks like a VHS rip, if I'm being frank.
It pretty much was.
Keeping it 100. It's a VHS rip. Doesn't look great. It looks almost sepia tone. It doesn't even look like the way, like when you watch, it was almost jarring to put on the like 4K and then throw on the.
And then you
the
feel it's like, I don't want to watch this.
I was like, oh God, I can't do this. But I sat through it because I wanted to see, like, I was taking my notes while, like, I had already watched the original one, paid attention, did the whole thing. Then I was like, all right, I'll put Seven Doors of Death on just to, like, take notes. And yeah, it's not a good version. It's an interesting watch because of the new music, but the quality of it hinders it.
When there were only bootlegs available. You can only get a copy from someone who got a copy from someone. Oh yeah, my cousin lives in Europe. He bought he sent me a VHS. He copied it from tape to tape, and he sent me a copy of it. Or, you know, like there was a time in the 80s and 90s when you went to these stores and there would legitimately be bootlegs like European bootlegs on the rack, because this is the only way you could see this movie. And it was just a tape inside, like it was usually inside like a clamshell with like the VHS cover cut out and put into it. You know, and then you'd open it up and there was just like a label stuck on it that said the name of it, and that was it. And they were legitimate bootlegs, you know, and even those cost money. You'd find a bootleg of this, it would still cost you $30, $40. And that was, you're talking in the early 90s.
And the Seven Doors of Death version, it again, regardless of the quality of it, seeing it with this like weird alien score, like someone like me who, again, I didn't watch it
well. Yeah.
I didn't watch it in 1985, or like I didn't watch this until I was a teenager. So considering
technically nobody watched it.
Nobody
here.
did.
And if you were here, unless you had a bootleg copy of it, you didn't see it here either. Like when I bought this,
I'm sure it played in Grindhouse theaters in 42nd Street in '83 because that's when it did come here as the Seven Doors of Death. But no one in our age group have seen it.
But like, when I bought this, I had not seen it.
Yes,
I had never. I just bought it blind because I knew what it was, and I knew that it hadn't been released, and it's just like this infamous, gore film. I'd already seen Zombie.
Which is the one I think, that's like entry level Fulci. I think that's the one that gets us into Fulci films. Yeah,
that was I rented that when I was a kid, and I remember only watching some of it when I was really young because it was so bloody, that I don't remember watching the whole film. But I knew Zombie, and I was like, oh, this is the same guy that did Zombie, because that poster. Oh, wait, I took it. Did I take it down?
I think you took it down.
I took it down. I moved it.
Manny doesn't even know what posters he has in his office.
No, I had that Zombie poster there, and that is the poster I had that used to be up here. It's in another frame somewhere else. That is an original Zombie poster.
Like
it's an
video
original
store
theatrical.
Theater. Oh, sick!
It is original theater
I've seen it before
poster.
in person. I didn't realize that's
it's
what it was.
Folded poster. A friend of mine in L.A. had gotten some posters, and he's not a big horror fan, but he was like, I've had this poster for a couple years now. Somebody just gave me some stuff, and he's like, I know you like this. It should go to somebody who appreciates it.
That's a good gift.
Oh, yes.
It was a lovely gift.
It is an original 1980, 78, 79 Zombie poster.
Yeah,
it was folded. And,
I think is when the movie came out. Like that's again, it's an interesting version. Again, the zombie. We all know Zombie, and that was the introduction. And most of us have seen the original. We saw the film the way it was intended to be seen. And Seven Doors of Death is just a fun what if version of the movie. But to move along with this release, you get 3 commentaries with all the actors and cinematographers on the film, etc. I only got to listen to one, because there's just so much. I still have yet to completely 100% this bad boy. There's a lot. And now to open it up really quick, there is a booklet in here, which is really cool if you skim through it, talking about the film. All the posters, all the poster art is in this book. And the script treatment, which is really cool. Like, you can actually see it in here. Like, you skim through it and you can find the page with it. And I think literally every single version of the poster is in this thing. So it's really just an overall just sick little booklet. And then Manny showed it off earlier. The coolest aspect of it is your own little version of the Ibon book.
I love it.
It's something you always kind of wanted to have if you're a fan of the Beyond. So you kind of got it here by, the films being held in it, you know, and it's just a cool little. I'll have better video in the video version of this episode, kind of displaying everything, but just honestly, dare I say it, one of the coolest. It has to be in top 5 coolest releases, physical releases of a horror film. Like, there's not many movies that just so much love and care have been put into with the film in general. Like, even something as huge as Friday the 13th or Halloween, the most mainstream shit you could think of, doesn't have a release like this. You know what I mean?
And you know what, too? So, I honestly think a lot of that is because of Sage Stallone.
Yeah. Who died way too young, which is crazy.
Yeah. He did. He started Grindhouse Releasing. When this is a story I know. I don't know how accurate all the details are, but this is the legend. Was that when he was I think he was a teenager, he saw Last House on the Left and absolutely fell in love with it, and that was his dive into horror films. And then he found Fulci, and clearly, he produced Chaos, which is the unofficial remake of Last House. It was supposed to be a remake of Last House, but they just couldn't get the rights to it because and what's his name, David Hess was actually involved in that too, but yeah, they couldn't actually get the rights to it all. And I think that along the lines of that's why he created Grindhouse. He wanted to release the films and recreate that feeling that he had when he saw these movies. He wanted to, like, these are so special to him. Like, well, how does he want it to be seen? How does he want people to experience? How would he want to have experienced it? And I think that's why you got things like this. Anchor Bay was big on it, but that's why you had the Beyond was done like this.
When you think about it, it's like 3 companies coming together to show so much love to a movie like The Beyond because, Rolling Thunder, Tarantino's group, he released a whole bunch of DVDs, I remember at one point. This was one of them. It's just kind of crazy that it's like Quentin Tarantino's distribution company, Sage Stallone with Grindhouse Releasing, and then Anchor Bay. It's like all these companies came together at one point to release this obscure Lucio Fulci movie that has gone on to be like one of the more infamous ones outside of Zombie, probably, which is the one he's known for. So it's just again a great release, the best release of the film. I think it was released in 2024. I'm 99% sure you can still get it. If you are interested and you love The Beyond as much as Maddie and I do, this is the version you need to have. If you don't own, if you're just streaming it on one of the streaming services and you love this movie, there's the eyeball with the symbol
my
on
version came with this.
I didn't get the goddamn eyeball, unfortunately.
They had two versions first in the pre-orders. One was with a oh my god, his name, the Joe.
Yeah,
they had a
Joe
doll.
The
they had they had 3 dolls of Joe the Plumber. And when it first went up for pre-order, that was like a $400 version
gone
of that.
In 2 seconds.
There's only 3 of them.
Yeah, gone. In
so that was
seconds.
gone. And then the next version had the eyeball. This eyeball that's always pointing upwards. So I can't really show it to you, but it has the eyeball on it. Which is really cool because, hey, anybody who knows Fulci movies, he has a thing for eye trauma.
There's eyes. There's a lot of eyes in this movie. So a lot of eye.
A thing for eye
stuff.
trauma. All his films. Yeah.
I unfortunately got the 3rd version, I believe, because I did not get the eyeball. I definitely didn't get the Joe the Plumber doll, which would have been sick to have. But whatever. I'm just happy that.
I wasn't paying $400 for that.
Neither
when
was I
signed on, it was there, and I was like, "Oh my god, I can't now."
I'm just happy this exists. I wish they would do this to more like beloved horror films, especially ones that don't get as much love. The whole point of Haunted Hall was to always cover these films' releases, and we've done some that are a little lackluster, some a little better than others. This is probably going to be one of the best releases we ever cover. And I don't even think our episode...
Until we get to Possession.
Which, I can't wait to get into that one. But yeah, this is just a great release of The Beyond. Like, I don't even think they'll be able to touch this in the future. Like, I don't know, unless you give me a severed head of the Jill, the little girl with the set inside of it or something crazy like that.
The hole in her face.
I don't think you're gonna be touching like just how perfect this release.
Come with a jar
is.
of acid.
Yeah,
You know?
just a jar of acid that you can pour on it, revealing the discs.
when you open it, the discs fall in and they melt, and it's like, that's it.
Yes.
Trust us, it was on there. The movie was on there.
It was there. It was there somewhere. And on that note, let's jump into finally the breakdown of what happens in said film, The Beyond.
60 years ago, everybody in this hotel disappeared. Every last person. A painter called Zweig, who lived here, closeted in his room, had found a key.
What key?
The 7 gateways to hell.
So The Beyond was released in Italy on April 29th, 1981, and released in the U.S. 3 years later in 1983, like we mentioned, Seven Doors of Death version. And then again in 1998, as we discussed, through Rolling Thunder and Grindhouse Releasing, their limited theatrical release, eventually to the DVD, VHS, etc. Now, we didn't touch on this, and I didn't really want to get into it too much because I feel like we're going to cover these other movies one day, I'm sure. This is the second film in Fulci's Gates of Hell trilogy. I know Manny probably will go on for 45 minutes with me about this, so that's why I'm holding back, diving too deep into the Gates of Hell trilogy. But you've got City of the Living Dead and House by the Cemetery are the other two that are part of said trilogy. The films don't have that much to do with each other. It's all about the end of the world and stuff. In the future, we may do an episode where we can kind of discuss all three films and what we think the interpretations of them are, etc. and stuff. That's a conversation that would make a good Patreon episode. Maybe we'll do that one day because that would be a good way to kind of just, because you got to dedicate like 45 minutes just talking about that shit because there's like just different details and certain things. Because Fulci, as much crazy nonsense and gore in his films, the guy was a little, he did have some cool ideas with kind of mixing and kind of adding little, before Easter eggs, but hints as to other, like other little details of how these films are connected, basically. Directed by Lucio Fulci, I don't have to say that, you guys know that. Starring Catriona MacColl as Liza. She was in City of the Living Dead and House by the Cemetery. So he used the same actress in all three films. So you could see how they're connected. Not the same character, but the same actress. But I almost feel like there's a reason why. It's almost like nightmare logic kind of thrown in there with Catriona MacColl's character. It's almost like it feels like the same character. But again, that's for another day. We've got David Warbeck, which Warbeck is a sick last name. David Warbeck. As Dr. John McCabe. He actually previously worked, I think it was the same year, in Fulci's The Black Cat. He's one of the leads in that film. We've got another butchering from Louis here. Cynthia Monreal. Cynthia Monreal as Emily. She too worked with Fulci in one of his spaghetti westerns, Silver Saddle. And then the last person I have...
And she was briefly in...
was she?
Oh my God, I just watched it the other day.
What?
Warriors of the Year 2072.
Oh, was she?
She's a dead body in that. She's not a dead body. She's
just a
someone
corpse.
being. She's not a corpse. She's alive, but she's on a table and they're like scanning her body.
Interesting.
She's in like one scene.
Did not know that. I wouldn't say I'm not too familiar with that movie.
I honestly didn't know. I hadn't seen it either. I literally just watched it. But in her interview, she talks about being there for one day.
Yeah,
otherwise, I would not have known. But she mentions it.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't tell. It's literally one.
I
one
would
scene.
not know if I watched the film. And the last person I have on the list as far as cast goes, we've got Anton St. John as Schweck the Warlock.
That's right. She's in Sweet House of Horrors too.
Oh, is she?
Cynthia Monreal. Yeah, she's in Sweet House of
She's
Horrors.
done a bunch of stuff.
Which is another release that was really good. That was on. Who released that? I forget their name. That was a 4-set release. They were a bunch of made-for-TV movies that they did that it was supposed to be 6 films.
Oh, the Fulci, like, weird box.
Yes,
Is it all
he
associated
did-
with Fulci, right?
It's
Yeah.
2 Fulcis, 2 Bruno Mattei.
Yes.
And then I forget who was supposed to do the other 2, but he couldn't do it, so they only did the 4 movies. And because of that, Fulci changed the script and decided to do 2 other films. But those just got a release as well, and that's the first time. Those were made in '88, never aired at all. Like, nobody saw them.
They just existed. No
Until
one saw
almost
them.
10 years later, somebody else got them. And then they did like VHS release, and I have the Sweet House of Horrors VHS. And they did another one. They Sweet House of Horrors and oh god damn it!
You've always mentioned I have to watch Sweet House of Horrors. I've never seen it. I know
I've
what it
gotta
looks
be
like. I know
honest,
the covers.
It's probably one of Fulci's worst movies.
Oh, okay.
It's terrible.
As
it's
a completist, I need to watch it though.
Yeah, well, that's why. Yeah, I have it exactly. You have to watch it, but it's
Still haven't.
Oh man,
Maybe
he's got
I'll
a
watch
lot
it.
of movies that have never been released. He
Maybe
really does.
I'll watch it in the new minisodes I'm doing. The 100 obscure horror films I've never seen. Maybe I'll watch it.
Yeah.
Maybe since it's not great, I'll just throw it in there as a quick little 10-minute
really
minisode.
He had a bunch of movies that he kind of did back to. House of Clocks is the other one. House of
Yes,
Clocks
I've
is
seen
cool.
that. Yeah, I've seen
House
that.
of Clocks is cool.
That's all right. Yeah.
Voices from
Demonia was
Beyond.
around that time too.
Yep.
The Killer Nun. So.
Sodoma's Ghost, Door into
Yeah.
Silence, Voices from Beyond, Touch of Death. These were all done in the 80s, in his late 80s, where he just kind of banged them out one after another. Yeah, and you can kind of tell watching them like that they just threw these.
They were just
together.
paychecks. He was just getting paid to make
Pretty
these movies,
much,
probably.
but they're
That's it.
still cool films. They're still cool.
Yeah. For the history
You
and
know?
like the filmography of Fulci, if you're a Fulci fan, I feel like you got to
but
watch
none
even
of
some
them.
of the crappy
a lot
ones.
of them are not released. Still not released to this day.
Hopefully,
You know,
one
like
day.
you'll find old VHS copies on YouTube, and that's pretty much the only way to watch a lot of these. Anyway,
As I was saying, so the last name on in the cast list I wanted to mention was Anton St. John as Schweck the Warlock. The thing I thought was really cool, and you learned this in the interview with the Fulci expert. There's not a lot known about this guy. Apparently, he gave up. He fell out of love with cinema and movie making and being an actor. And then he died in 1990 and never did interviews. So he's basically a mystery. No one really knows much about him. And I just think that's kind of cool in this day and age where there's an actor that really exists who was in a couple, and he was featured in a couple of other films.
looks
Not
like
much is known about
maybe
the guy.
what is that, 5 to 12, 13 movies listed on Letterboxd. But
There was another film that the guy mentioned, Simon, the Fulci expert. He mentions, and they actually show clips from it, and you recognize him right away. He looks exactly the same, but the guy died really young. So at that point, he hadn't done any interviews. Shows like this didn't exist. Podcasts, talk shows, things, special edition Blu-rays didn't exist. So they never interviewed him. So the Beyond opens in 1927 at the Seven Doors Hotel in New Orleans, where
the hotel.
Where Schweck, I'm going to say that 50 different ways. I'm sorry, guys.
The
Where
ungodly warlock.
a painter and warlock, naturally, because, if you're a warlock, you might as well be a painter, is brutally lynched by a mob. Well, lynched. It's more so
Not
chained and nailed.
He's
It's a
nailed
lynch-
to the wall.
It's a lynch mob, I
Yes.
guess is a better way of
Lynch
phrasing
mob that
it.
didn't get to the lynching.
Yes. They didn't
Skip
get
the
to
lynching
the
part.
lynching. They nail him to a wall and then douse
In
him
the
in
basement, yeah.
acid.
Concrete.
Concrete, sorry.
Yes,
but it
it's
kind of
hot
melts.
concrete.
Hot concrete. It melts his skin. That's why I always thought it was acid for some reason.
Yeah. Hot concrete is like 600-700 degrees. Yeah.
It
It's-
looks like acid if we're being
it does.
honest.
It does, but no,
Yeah.
it's concrete. Yeah.
And they're doing this to him. The mob's going after him because he's participating in witchcraft. So the reason why they're doing this to our boy Schweck is because of his knowledge of the
Ungodly
occult
warlock.
and being a warlock. So sort of like the Salem witch, kind of like a Salem witch situation. Hence why it's like a lynch mob in a way that are going after him. But they don't know that the reason why he's painting and doing all of this voodoo, all this black magic, all this, witchcraft, is because the hotel, the building, he's sealing one of the 7 gates to hell.
The
hidden.
7 Doors of Death.
Yes, 7 Doors of Death, going back to the American version. He's sealing or keeping sealed one of the doors, preventing the apocalypse.
Yes.
They did him dirty. He did not, he was trying to be a good guy, and they felt the need to douse him in concrete and nail him to a wall for whatever reason. Pretty rough way to go. Movie starts off with a bang.
It's one of those. It's just one of those things where they are, what is the word? Oh man, what religious zealots? Where I'd said he's a warlock. Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if he's doing something good; they don't care.
Yeah. In the script, this is like 8 minutes of the first 8 minutes, 7 or 8 minutes of the film. It's a pretty, it's really an extended death scene, if we're being honest here.
It really is.
Like leading to him actually being nailed to the wall, the mob, the lynch mob, getting to him. It's like 4 minutes of him melting, nailed to this wall. But it's gnarly and looks great.
It's great. Oh my God.
Yes.
They hit him with the chain with the hook on the end of it, all right across the face.
Nailed to a wall, doused in acid-like concrete. Fulci to a T. So decades later, Liza inherits, Catriona McCall, Liza, inherits the long-abandoned motel and plans to reopen it almost immediately. I'm talking like a minute that we meet this girl.
As soon as she pulls up.
Yes, as soon as she is, which is what's hysterical about the film, I will admit. But as soon as she gets there, we have to get this renovated and painted. Strange shit starts happening.
Immediately the painter falls right off.
First weird occurrence. A painter one of 2 painters helping renovate the building, the house, falls in a freak accident after seeing a blind girl in the window. And this brings Dr. John Caleb to the scene. And this is sort of how this is how he's introduced, because he's the other protagonist of the film. This is how their blossoming friendship starts.
John McCabe.
John
McCabe, not Caleb.
Caleb.
You said John Caleb.
I'm good.
John McCabe. No, that wasn't butchering. That was a completely different name. It's McCabe, not Caleb.
I destroy names on the show.
Well, that's what I'm here for.
Yes, that's what Manny's here for, to help me.
I'm here to shame you into proper diction.
Dude. I'm horrible. Even when I was taking these notes, I'm like, oh God, this is gonna be a rough one to get through with these last names.
Gianpaolo Saccarola.
I'm gonna just call him John for the rest of this breakdown.
Yeah.
So yeah, Liza and John. This is how he's introduced, and this is how they become friends and buddy. Soon after, we're introduced to a plumber named Joe. We already mentioned our boy Joe, who's hired to fix the hotel's water problems. They're getting no water in the pipes. Basically, there's no water to drink or bathe, etc. And while he's working, he accidentally unseals the gateway to hell and is violently killed.
Which is
as a
crazy
result.
because, like, if he unsealed it, what killed? What? Why did he kill the? Nothing's happened yet. We haven't opened the gate yet.
Nothing has
But
happened.
yet here is this dead blind girl that shows up.
Yeah, I mean the blind girl and Joe opening the gateway to hell kind of happened. This happens minutes apart.
Yeah,
and I take it as like Emily, which I haven't gotten to her yet in the breakdown. I'm about to in a second. Is sort of like warning everyone. That's how I took it. She's kind of trying to help these people. Anyway, Liza later encounters Emily, a blind girl who lives nearby with her dog, Dickie. Everyone loves Dickie. We talked about Dickie in our Thanksgiving Fulci feast in depth. We love Dickie here at Haunted Hangover.
Yep.
After touching Schweck's painting, because the painting, very important to this film. There's the painting that we see him putting together in the beginning stays in the hotel all cobwebby and dusty. Liza leaves it. She discovers it. Yeah. It's there. It never leaves the house. So after touching the painting, Emily warns Liza to stay away from the hotel, especially that room 36. You don't want to go there. It turns out this room is where Schweck, his body is, and the book of Ibon. So like his body's been preserved there like a mummy. So the room is forbidden. It's locked. Liza has not been in there yet. No one, for some reason, in this hotel that's being renovated has walked into room 36. She sees both of them, freaks out, obviously, because she's this corpse and sees this evil book. And she turns to John, who helps her investigate the room himself. He finds no sign of the corpse or the book. He dismisses Emily, kind of basically telling her she's going crazy. It's all an imagination. John brushes off Liza a ton in this film until about the last 10 minutes of the movie. He's literally like, there's a line in the film towards the end where he literally tells her, I'm a doctor. There's got to be a rational explanation for this. So like John does not believe Liza at all. Their relationship is interesting because you can't tell if they're romantically interested or just friends. It's a bizarre, it's undercooked, I'll be honest.
Well, he's a man, she's a woman. So
That's it.
That's it. I mean, look,
Yeah.
It's 1981. We need to fuck.
Yeah,
right?
it's an interesting dynamic because when you watch the movie, you just assume like, oh, Liza likes him because he's a guy and he's a doctor and he's handsome. But
Which is
they
pretty
don't
much
really
how they
give
portrayed
off.
a lot of that. No, they don't. They're not really, but that is
Yeah.
how they play it because, I guess that's just kind of how they acted movies back. If there's a male and a female lead, there's got to be some form of
Yeah.
chemistry in it, even though it's not in the script and it's never.
Yeah, it's never explained.
I also do notice Warbeck does that in all the films that I've seen him in. He's very suave. He's very Tom Selleck,
Yeah, I mean, they never kiss. They
No.
hold hands towards the end, and she like is all over his shoulder a couple times, and he's like dragging her through scenes when shit hits the fan. But it's just an interesting dynamic because they don't have like sexual chemistry or
No.
like there's no embrace. There's none of that there. It's kind of like you kind of get the vibe, but you don't. It's a weird male and female dynamic in the film, but they're both great. But you know what I mean. It's just a little undercooked. You never quite understand their relationship in the film. Anyway, John doesn't believe her. Liza's shook. What happens is basically a descent into chaos and gore for the rest of the film to kind of move things along here. Joe the plumber, like we said, he's dead. His family is killed. His wife, his daughter kind of goes missing, is possessed. Liza's architect friend, who's uncovering dark secrets about the hotel, he's killed by tarantulas at the library. There's a housekeeper named Martha, and what I think is her son, Arthur. I think that's supposed to be her son. They
think so
die.
too, yeah.
Yeah, they
That's
have
Gianpaolo Saccarella.
yes, they both die. And
Yeah.
even Emily, the blind girl trying to help Liza, is murdered and attacked by her own dog, Dickie, who gets possessed.
Yeah. It's funny listening to Cynthia Monreal's her interview. She explains Emily as well. And Emily, like you said, Emily lives in this other house, but she doesn't. She does, but she doesn't because Emily is technically dead.
She's a ghost.
She's technically a
spirit,
ghost. But the way she explained it, she's like, she's a ghost that doesn't want to move on yet. She hasn't moved on. So she's still here, but she's not, which is why. So she's not like a psychic as they're kind of portraying her. She comes off as a psychic, but she's not really a psychic. She's just dead. And what is her actual connection to the house? Even she's like, it's not really clear.
I mean,
how
yeah.
she has a connection to the
A
house
lot
other
is
than
not
her
explained
connection
in this film. so-
Yes, yes. Well, but that's also part of Fulci, where apparently he wanted this to be very supernatural, and the producers told him, "No, we need zombies. We need the zombie thing because of zombie." And that's actually he broke his production deal with the company that produces Zombie because they just wanted him to keep doing zombie movies.
Yeah.
And then even when he got to a different company to do the Beyond, they still wanted more zombies.
He became the zombie guy there for a few years.
He
That's
really
all
did.
It was.
And that's where those movies in the late 80s where they're all very supernatural. There are no real zombies there. It's kind of like that's really where he wanted to go, but he never really got the budget or the production support again after doing the zombie movies.
Here's a real question, true question, the most important question. Since Emily was a ghost, was Dickie a ghost?
I don't know. He might be because he shows up in Suspiria and then kills his blind. I don't know if it's the same dog, but
imagine. I hope it'd be awesome if it was the same dog.
But then again, Suspiria was before this.
Yeah.
Suspiria was before
77,
this. So
I think, right?
So he killed his blind person then, and maybe they put him down at the end of Suspiria for killing the guy, and now this is his ghost, and now he's with a blind girl.
I mean, that's the whole thing with the Emily character, and I don't want to dwell on this too much so we can move on, but like, yeah, she's supposed to be a ghost, but then is killed violently, which you wouldn't expect of a ghost.
By the ghost of the Suspiria dog. I mean, come on.
I know, that's what does it. The Suspiria
Argento
dog.
lent the dog to Fulci and finished his story.
The dog transcends.
That's it.
Like death and like life and death. It's able to go from like here to the afterlife and kill a ghost. Gory, a violent
That's
death.
one of the best parts of the Beyond. It's just like a lot of it makes no sense.
No sense.
But it's just so cool.
It is. It is. We've got a ghost. This ghost bleeds for some reason.
A lot.
Yes.
Like, there's a lot of blood.
Yes. We went in depth on Emily's death in our Fulci Feast episode. So and a lot of
go
more
back and
love
listen
for,
to that.
Yeah, a lot of love for Dickie in that episode too. Like I said before,
Who doesn't love a dog that eats your ear?
Come on,
you know,
bites
rips
out your neck,
throat out,
then
chews your ear off.
Bites out a giant hole into your neck and then rips your ear off while you suffer, and then just dips out. He just leaves, never to be seen, to go into his next film where he attacks someone, probably.
And that's something too, because it's funny. It shows the difference between the effects style of the Italian films versus American films, because really, if you really think about it, it's the same exact bite that Emily gets, that what's his name gets in Creepshow. When the creature, it's the same thing. He bites him on the side and rips his ear off. And you just look at the difference. The way Dickie did it, it's like the whole ear comes right off and the blood just shoots out. But then Savini did it like a scraping, ripping the
where you see like the marks, like you can see where the piece was like sort of peeled back. You see the sharp edges.
Yeah, and we all know that Savini was also inspired by a lot of these Italian films as well, because no one was doing gore like them except for him.
Yeah.
Even the other effects artists of the 70s, 80s weren't doing the gore to the same extent that Savini was, unless you were making an Italian film. Then it was, balls to the wall, all the blood and gore, ripping of skin, and that latex pull that they really oh my God.
Mattei
and Fulci,
gallons of the red stuff in every death scene in these movies. Probably the goriest films outside of like the real deal stuff like Faces of Death or whatever nonsense they release. This is probably as gory as it gets for the most part. But yeah, continuing on. Eventually, John breaks into Emily's abandoned home where he discovers the Book of Ibon and he starts to read it. Through this text, he finally understands the truth. That the
I
hotel
get it
is,
now.
Yes. Not really, though. Not really.
No, he still doesn't get it.
He still doesn't
There's
get
a language barrier,
yes.
apparently.
But yeah, he finally realizes while reading Ibon that the hotel is the gateway to hell.
The subtitles in the book were a little off, right?
But again, this goes back to my original point. Even after he reads it, he still tells like Liza that, I don't know, bro. Like, I don't know this. There's got to be a reason all this weird shit is happening right now, which is kind of funny and plays into just how off the wall Fulci's films are. So after surviving an attack by a corpse in the hotel basement. A panicked Liza reunites with John, and they run off to the hospital where John works. There, all kinds of hell literally break loose. This is where the corpses you mentioned, the zombies Manny mentioned before, the reanimated corpses start attacking John, his colleague, Dr. Harris, who we meet a little earlier, but he's kind of a nothing character. He just that's like his boy at work. He's killed by shards of glass flying his way. Joe's young daughter, Jill, shows up again. And here it's revealed that, well, we know she's possessed, but the character, like Liza and John don't know that Jill is possessed. And this is where John, another fantastic effect we talked about previously, busts a cap in Jill's head. Single shot, head explodes like a watermelon. Yes, what? This is like a grenade.
That's like an exploding bullet. Like
yes,
it is.
Yes. We highlighted this death scene.
It's the Judge Dredd grenade.
Literally, crater in her head after John shoots her.
I have 2 different T-shirts with that on it.
It's gone on to be an iconic visual for this film. So, again, John starts busting several more. It's such a great scene. I just want to highlight this here. John, my man, in the hospital, just starts shooting anybody, any zombie.
Anyone he sees.
Anyone he sees that comes near him that's not Liza. He just shoots them. There's one zombie, I guess he realizes, shoots it twice in the chest, and then he shoots it in the head, and it dies. He's like, oh, that's how you kill these things.
Which is ridiculous, because he'd already shot a couple of them in the head. It's like, why are you wasting bullets now?
And he does that. He wastes the bullets, drops the gun. The 2 of them descend down some stairs into what you think is the hospital's basement, and then they find themselves back in the hotel's basement. They're disoriented, confused. They don't know what the hell's going on. They wander deeper into the basement and eventually make their way into a desolate wasteland littered with corpses where they're finally blinded, just like we see Emily's blinded earlier in the film, and trapped within Schweik's painting, living there for eternal in this nightmarish beyond, hence the title of the film. And that was The Beyond.
Who's Emily?
The blind girl that lives in the old house by the crossroads.
There's no blind girl living there, and I know everyone around here.
Now, we kind of touched on the performances, so we won't dwell on it too much. We talked about, Catriona McCall's performance as Liza and David Warbeck's John, the doctor, how their relationship is very surface level, but individually, for a film like this where, the dubbing is going to be a bit hokey, so you can't take the performances too seriously in these old Italian films. That's the thing with them. I almost wish there were versions of these movies with subtitles that we could see, but then when you look at behind the scenes, not everyone was Italian. Like Catriona McCall was British.
Audio.
Yeah, that was the thing. Everything was overdubbed.
Yeah, they didn't record audio for the films at all.
Yeah, and you can tell. Like, if you've watched Suspiria, like Manny mentioned, or any of these films, they're all overdubbed, so the performances are always hokey.
Have we ever talked about why? I know I talked about it on the Stabby Road podcast.
We might have. I don't remember.
Yeah, the short version is, when Italy was under dictator rule, when they were a fascist country, all films that were made had to be approved by the government before release. So that included dialogue. So they would end up having to re-record dialogue because the government had to approve it. And at some point, the studios, the productions all just decided, well, then let's just not we'll do the audio later. And we'll give them the script and they will approve the script and then they'll record the audio. And it just became a signature of Italian films. So at this point, they're really just keeping the tradition of Italian filmmaking alive in that signature Italian style of shooting with no audio, and then they can release it to any country that they wanted to.
Different markets they can
market, that's the word.
Yeah.
Any market they want to release it to, because there's no audio to worry about. It can go to any language, anything. And yes, you're right. Some of these actors spoke English and some of them spoke Italian. Some of them spoke both. So
it's like Sergio Leone movies with Clint Eastwood, Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. It's like he spoke English, but like some of the actors spoke Spanish or Italian, etc.
Yep, there were some actors that didn't speak English at all and some that didn't speak Italian at all. And you'd have actors in the same scene speaking different languages at each other. And they were just waiting for the cues. And that's kind of what adds to the stunted performances, because if the actor doesn't actually understand what the other one is saying, they're just waiting for them to stop talking before they say their line. And that's where a lot of the pauses come in between them, because they truly don't understand what the other one's saying.
It's not fair to gauge any of these movies by you're going into it expecting this Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Academy Award-winning performance. You're not going to get it in an Italian horror
At this
film.
point, it was intentional.
Yeah,
because they didn't have to do.
And this is 81, so imagine.
Yeah, they didn't have to do that anymore. They intentionally did it because it also made things easier. Could you imagine? Oh my God, how much easier would shooting be if we didn't record audio on set?
Yeah.
Boom, done. Oh man, wait for helicopter.
I'll be honest. I can't imagine what a set would be like where you've got one actor who doesn't know English, one who does. That's got to, and then the director probably doesn't know English. Like Fulci didn't know English, I don't think.
There.
You've done it. I've not done it.
I shot a music video with Corrado, and his cousin was in there, and his English was very bad. So Corrado was directing in English and Italian to him.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, he would say one to us, and then he'd repeat it for him.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be a little bit.
It is.
You got to go through like a third party there to kind of get your point across as a director, a cinematographer, whatever. Even just to block. I can't imagine blocking a scene with 4 actors and one of them doesn't speak English, or like one speaks Italian, one speaks English, one speaks whatever, Spanish or something like that. That's got to be all kinds of chaos. But Fulci did it, and then the director himself doesn't speak English.
Yeah, and like I said,
it was interpreters are vital, I guess, to that set.
I think a part of it too is the fact that Italian films did it so often. I think the actors were used to it, so they kind of got used to paying attention to visible cues of what the director was saying. It's like, oh, okay, I could follow him. Italians talk with their hands.
There you go. So, even in the Beyond, even when this demonic warlock guy is trying.
Yeah, I think it's something that a lot of them got used to, because David Warbeck was in a lot of Italian films.
Well, Catriona McCall was in 3 Fulci films, and she's honestly, listen, for what it is, she's good in it.
Yeah.
Like she's good. She's great in it. Like for what she's doing, the dubbing, and that's her voice. I'm pretty sure she dubbed herself. So
Possibly.
No, I think in the interviews when she had a British accent. Yeah, I don't think she said it in the interviews, but you can tell by the interviews. I'm pretty sure it's her voice. Maybe I'm wrong. If I am a listener, let me know. But I think
David
it's
Warbeck
her voice.
is
Italian, isn't he?
No, New Zealand.
New Zealand.
Yep, he's a Kiwi.
From all over the place. Crazy. But yeah, listen, it's charming. I dug it. I don't think the performances are bad in the film for what it is. Again, their relationship's a little questionable, but the rest of it is kind of funny. There are some funny moments unintentionally because, and like I've gone to see the film where people laugh at a certain line delivery because of the dubbing, but give or take, you just got to take it for what it is. Like you know exactly what you're getting into watching an old
We're not watching The Godfather here.
Film.
This isn't Godfather Italians.
This is not
Marlon
real
Brando.
Italians.
Yes. Marlon Brando, who also read his lines off of James Caan's chest,
and he knew English. So there you go.
he knew English in between sandwiches.
Yes. Oh God. But the real highlight, I would say, when watching The Beyond and any Fulci movies, and we, going through the plot of the film and the breakdown of the film, is the gore. We already joked around about, we talked so much about gore in our Fulci Fest episode that I didn't want to feast episode, Fulci Feast episode. We don't
need to do it again,
We don't need to do it again here, but that is obviously the highlight of the film. Outside of Dickie and the head crater with Jill's head exploding from John busting a cap in her skull. What's your third favorite death in the film?
Off the top of my head, the head through the spike
With the eyeball
and the
at the edge of the
yeah.
That is a good one.
One of the warlock spikes.
You want to know what? None of the.
That's the first
none
one that
of
just
the-
came to mind. Yeah.
Yes. Here's mine, and it's not even a specific effect or scene that it's not a money shot of a death scene. So after Joe is killed, I believe it's Martha, her character. That character goes down to the basement. She comes across his body.
Yeah.
His eyes are already gouged out, right?
Yeah.
So he leans forward or to the side. You've got this nasty gook that's yellow and chunky and black. It's black, red, yellow,
And he's just
phlegmy,
vomiting
green.
it up. Yeah.
That to me, out of everything
Nasty.
in the movie, is the nastiest effect. And it's probably like pudding.
It's
and
like old
globs
bread
of crap.
pudding. Yeah. Like
Yeah,
just dyed black or brown or whatever, and he's just all in his beard and.
That's the only
It's
gross out moment to me in this film is
Yeah.
just that.
Yeah. And
That
then
is
they kept doing it because at some point it just becomes like water. So it's like they just must have just kept he must have kept putting cups of it in his mouth and redoing
Yeah,
it. You know,
the fact that it had different colors is what made it look real and like
it was like gray and yeah,
yellow, it's chunky. It was
he's
nasty.
vomiting
Like,
up the boiling concrete.
To me, that
It's
is literally
nasty.
the grossest effect, gore effect in the film. And what's funny is it's probably one of the simpler ones, of the entire movie because it's just him putting a bunch of shit in his mouth and spitting it out. You know what? Here's another little in my notes I have here, a little bullet point I wanted us to touch. The ending, the interpretation. I feel like you had you'd have something to say about this. Just your interpretation of that ending, because the film does sort of. They end up into the painting, they end up into the beyond, into this limbo scenario, which is what I take it as, limbo between hell and wherever else.
Pretty much
What's your
probably where
interpretation?
Emily has been. It's probably where she's been. Which is why, how did she get out of it before they opened the door? But
Which
that's
we'll
pretty
never
much
know.
what it is. Yeah, they go into the painting, but now that the door is open, essentially this is what the earth is going to turn into. You kind of get that sense at the end of Zombie when they do the shots of the zombies crossing the bridge.
Yeah, the Brooklyn Bridge.
Yeah, you kind of get that sense in all the movies in the end that this is going to be the end of the world, and this is what the Warlock was preventing. That this would have happened 60 years earlier.
Yeah, because it's not hell.
No,
They're not in hell.
No, it's like a limbo that is going
That's
to
what I take
come
it as,
into.
yeah.
It's going to take over the earth.
And I do want to say that scene, extremely atmospheric. Like the gray and
I
the
love
fog and
You know
all the
what, too?
corpses.
Now that you think, when you really look at it that way, you got to think, well, Zombie was technically Dawn of the Dead 2. And Dawn of the Dead's famous line is, when there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth. Take that concept into all of these, and that's what's happening. Hell is full. And now Earth is going to become that limbo. Or even hell opening up and just expanding its borders, into the real world. That's one way of looking at it.
Did you ever hear what the original ending was supposed to be? And this is, in my opinion, the ending we got is much better. Did you hear about what it was supposed to be?
If I did, I don't remember.
So originally, I think in the script, because obviously Fulci changed stuff,
And again, they forced him to do zombies. They
Yeah.
wanted zombies.
I think the original script was 165 pages or something crazy like that. They say in one of the
Imagine a
documents.
3-hour The Beyond.
I know,
Ooh.
3-hour Fulci epic.
I would watch every second of that. Every second I would watch.
So originally, Liza and John were gonna end up in this weird amusement park, like hell limbo amusement park, and that's where they'd walk through it and they'd see zombies, undead corpses and stuff like that there. But I think the budget constraints, obviously, that would have cost way to find an amusement park, shut it down, get these shots. They scrapped it for this ending, which was obviously much cheaper to put together because it's just, it's a set and a couple of bodies and your two leads. But I'm so curious what that would have looked like them walking into the beyond, which this limbo space, and it's an amusement park. Like I can't imagine, I can imagine a fucked up Lucio Fulci amusement. Like I'm picturing John and Liza on a roller coaster. Like
I'm into it.
The most depressing roller coaster you've ever seen in the beyond. Yeah, I just thought that was. I learned that in the interviews in the box set, and I was just like, wow, that would have been a bizarre. Because at least in this version of the Beyond, I don't remember what might have if an amusement park would have played into like some of the plot points earlier in the film. Like imagine it would have just ended like randomly. They end up in an amusement park. You're like, wait, what the fuck? Why are they now in a Ferris wheel and a carousel?
Yeah.
And like zombies are like just stumbling. Like imagine a Ferris wheel with a bunch of zombies riding it, and then they're just looking up at it with their blind contacts. Like it would have been kind of freaky. Like it would have worked too. Yeah, but I do like the ending we got. Like I do dig it. It is like a bleak, depressing. Like our heroes don't make it out alive, and they're conscious enough to know that they're fucked and they're blinded in the beyond.
Yeah.
And I almost my only, and this is a good way to kind of transition to a few little things maybe we didn't like or wish they would have done better. I do wish, and this is sort of a little con, and I don't have much negative to say about the Beyond. Obviously, we both love this movie. I wish they would have looped back around and got the Warlock back. Like he would have been. We see his corpse so much in the movie. Like you see it throughout the film while people are dying and stuff. His corpse is very much visible. They don't. I wish they would have bookended the film with him. Like it would have made sense to bring him back at the end and maybe see his like body there fresh, almost dying with concrete or something. Fulci would have done it some fucked up weird way. He would have figured it out. But I almost wish he would have played into the ending a bit more, considering that they're in his painting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's always been sort of my only con towards the film. Is like it just kind of ends. It could have used another minute or two of like just
what's
adding
happening.
That.
Give me something. We
get his voiceover, which I understand. We hear him, but it would have been nice to see him and better gauge that he was doing this to prevent the end of the world, to prevent hell from opening up and devouring whatever.
Him you just see him pull his arms off. I fucking told you guys. I tried to warn you.
Yeah, that's always been every time I watch, and I've seen this movie a bunch. I'm like, damn, it would have been cool to kind of just have him show up again. He just sort of vanishes in the final act after they see his zombified corpse. It's just like, all right, here's a voiceover, here's them in the painting, in the beyond, in limbo, roll credits.
Yeah.
So that's sort of always been my kind of like nitpicky con towards the beyond. What about you? Anything?
I would like more on Emily. I want more Emily.
Yeah.
I loved her character. I wish there was more. If she really was this kind of stuck between worlds specter, I would have liked more of that in some form. I don't know what form it would take. I'm sure Fulci could have been crazy with it. He would have been, oh man, let's explore Emily. That's really it. Because I think you're right. The being killed by the dog almost feels like they didn't have an ending for her character. It's very random. Like why? Because the dog is barking at seeing other specters in the house as well.
I guess because she's a specter, they're trying to say. I mean, I guess.
Yeah, it's like that. That's why. What makes her different from all the other dead things that we see? Why is she different? I would like more on that. That's really. I think that's the only thing that's ever kind of like a hanging thread. Like, well, who is Emily? Like, what does she have to do with it? Was she like the Warlock's wife or something? Like who is she? Where does she come from? And what is her official connection to the house, to the hotel, and the painting, and all of this,
And we see her in the beginning not blind. Like, we see her reading Ibon.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah,
her in
but-
the beginning.
yeah,
but
but-
it doesn't really, even to go back to it, it really doesn't make any sense.
It's a supernatural kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, is she reading it, or does she's holding it, or does she just know it?
Yeah, it's almost implied like she found the book, she's reading the book, she's learning about it, and then
She's
becoming
almost like the guardian of the book at this point.
Yeah.
But it doesn't say that, but you can
No.
interpret her that way. Like she has held the book, but now that the door is open, it doesn't matter. Like almost like she was a guardian of the house and making sure that nothing opened the door, and somehow, she was on the fucking bridge going fishing or something, and
she just appears on the bridge.
yeah, she's on the bridge, and then, oh fuck, man, what is this guy doing in the basement? Like
Yeah. It's just not explained. But again, that goes back to a lot of stuff that happens in the Beyond. It's just really loose plot and just interpretations really up to you. Two little things I want to mention here. I got no other cons. There's just nothing else. I love the Beyond. So
I do too.
I got nothing bad to say about this movie. Two quick things. You mentioned the bridge. Iconic. One of the greatest visuals in horror. Yeah, there you go. I'll put up images in
That's
the
bridge.
show too.
I like
But-
having show and tell,
I
okay?
know. Man, he wants to physically show you guys.
Physical media.
Physical media. It's just a great visual of that bridge. I've been over that bridge. I've gone over it.
Me too.
And just and I wish I can go over it when it's desolate like it is in the movie. Unfortunately, that's not possible. They closed the streets to film the scene for 2 hours. They were able to do it, which is cool. I learned that
When I went over it, it wasn't desolate like that, but the traffic was light enough where I did have. There was, I'm going to say, maybe 6-7 minutes where I couldn't see any cars ahead of us, and there was a couple of cars behind us, but it was just long enough where we have a TikTok, we have a video on our TikTok page. I'm pretty sure we pushed it into my Instagram as well, and this is like 2 years ago already, so you'd have to scroll through to find it. But I did shoot the whole bridge. I put the camera up and we shot the whole drive across the bridge. And there was a good section where I couldn't see any cars ahead of us. It was really cool.
If you go to New Orleans, it's a bridge you have to take to get around. Yes. So it's like there's not a lot of you'll more than likely come across it if you know the Beyond.
Train bridge.
Yeah, it's cool. It's just a great visual. And then that infamous photo that. Yeah. Funny enough, I used it for our Thanksgiving Fulci feast, but we put a bunch of other characters around him of him sitting there in the director's chair with his hair up and
if
just
you're
on
in
the bridge.
If you're in the main area of New Orleans, where by like the Mardi Gras area, if you want to go to the Beyond House, which is in a nature preserve and a public park. Yeah, it's in there because it's the house is preserved or whatever. It's actually a museum, but I think it's still closed. Like they were renovating it, so we weren't able to go in. I don't know if you tried to go.
I actually didn't get to see the house when I went. I went over the bridge, but I didn't get a chance to go to the house. I know
it's in a bridge, and it's like it's in a park. It's a huge park. It's also like very swampy. It's very swampland.
New Orleans.
Yeah.
So,
very
swampy area.
That like in the beginning of the movie, you see them rowing up to the house.
Yeah.
I don't recall it. Maybe that's a certain time of year where the water is high enough. Where it was very swampy, but it wasn't like walking through mud swamp. There were areas where we were that were watery, and that's honestly why I didn't get as much footage as I wanted, because I'm wandering around the house and I'm just shooting the house like, this is amazing. And then Lynn looks and she goes,
Beyond House.
Oh yeah, dude, I was so like, oh, how the trees hanging
It's surreal to visit. I think I've talked about this. It's surreal to visit like locations of films you love that you love. It's crazy to see stuff like that.
I wanted to get more, and then she looks at me and she's like, this is a swamp. I'm like, yeah. She's like, there's alligators. And it was like, oh shit.
Definitely.
Like, okay, let's not walk too far. So we actually just ended up turning and walking back.
Dude, They're out there.
There are gators there. But you can go there. But if you were in the main area of New Orleans and you wanted to see this house, you have to cross the bridge to get there.
Yeah.
And then it's a few minutes past the bridge in this park. So if you look it up, I can't remember the name of the house, but again, it is a museum. So it's actually listed in like New Orleans travel guides and stuff. So you can go to the house. It's not like, oh no, you can't get there. It's pretty easy to get to it. you know.
Next time I'm out there, I'm definitely gonna get some footage and shoot some pictures, post it up on Haunted Hangover. I've only been to New Orleans once, but
The
I am planning on
bookstore
trying
is
to go
there
back.
too.
Yeah,
I saw the
it's
bookstore.
all.
Yeah, we were
I looked
outside
up
the bookstore.
I looked up this website. I was on this website, and they had all the addresses to every like location, like where to go to visit at the address. Kind of like what they do if you're in South Pasadena in California. If you want to visit like the locations of Halloween, you know,
Yeah.
like, they give you like the
There's
hedge,
tours
the
and
house.
stuff,
There's like ways to get around. So yeah, next time I'm out there, I'm definitely gonna go to the Beyond House. I mean, I've been over the bridge, but go to both houses you can visit. Funny enough, they're both out there. Emily's house too, you can go to. That's something I got to do next time, just because I feel like a shitty Beyond fan. The fact that I didn't have enough time to go visit them last time.
And especially because you drove across the bridge.
I know.
Another like 10 minutes.
I was only in New Orleans for like 2 days, so I didn't have a lot of time.
Another
to get around.
10 minutes and you could have seen the house.
Yeah. Two more things on my notes here I wanted to highlight. First, Fulci has a cameo in this movie as like the librarian. There's two. I don't know where the second one is. I only have one.
Yeah.
I've got the first one. Highly amusing because they gave him a southern accent. His dubbing is like the southern guy. It just looks funny seeing Fulci as like this random librarian
I had it
with
written
a
down,
southern
his other-
New Orleans accent or whatever they tried to
the
give him.
He's the
I don't
librarian.
know what the second one is.
He's not another character. He's in wherever they are. You can see him sitting in the mirror, like in a mirror. He's sitting at a table. He's just there.
He's just there in the background.
He's
or
just
something
there's
like
like
that.
a mirror in the scene, and you can see his reflection sitting in a chair.
Cool.
Or something. Yeah.
That's his Alfred Hitchcock moment
Yes.
there.
Yes. Literally, because he's an Alfred Hitchcock fan.
Yeah, you can tell.
I mean,
you
who the
can
hell?
tell, yeah.
What fucking director of the 70s is not a Hitchcock
in general? Who
fan?
doesn't like
in general?
Hitchcock?
But name one director in the 70s that doesn't love Hitchcock. I mean, they all seriously.
Last thing too, besides the Fulci cameo I have here is the Necrophagia song, "And You Will Live in Terror."
No,
I remember I've talked about Necrophagia on the show before when we did like horror themed bands in a previous episode, and I remember this DVD having the music video for "And You Will Live in Terror," and that's where I discovered Necrophagia. At 16 years old.
Probably where I discovered them too, and I wasn't a fan.
Yeah, you weren't into them, but Louis was. Yeah. Still to this day, I think they do a great job. They did a great job.
You know, I'm going to
like
say
horror.
When we do that episode, of all the three movies, I'm going to make a suggestion. We should have Hank from Death by DVD on for that one.
Of course, yeah.
Because Killjoy is honestly one of his best friends.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, one of his best friends. So he probably has a lot that he can talk about as far as Necrophagia's connection to Fulci films and everything. Like literally, they were best friends.
I know that they were cool. I remember seeing like pictures.
No,
and stuff
they were
really,
really good friends. He was good friends with Sage Stallone too.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, because actually his mother dated David Hess for a little while.
Really?
Yes.
That's wild.
Yes. Hank's mom dated David Hess.
That's fucking crazy. I remember when I did my my episode of horror themed bands and talked about Necrophagia. Hank, shout out to Hank again. Hank was in our movies we love that other people hate episode. So go back and listen to that. That was a nice fun one that we did last year actually. He had commented on my episode when I talked about Necrophagia, saying he likes it was cool to like he didn't realize how into Necrophagia I was when I was like a teenager, even into it as an adult.
Yeah.
I still listen to I still fuck with Necrophagia. They got some sick shit. So
I think he's got Killjoy's vest.
Oh really? That's cool.
I think his daughter gave it to him. Yeah.
I remember watching this with you at your old apartment, and I remember telling you, yo, put that Necrophagia video. I want to see what that is. And Manny, listen, funny thing about Manny, and I know we're going off on a tangent. We're wrapping up the episode here, guys. Funny thing about Manny is not into death metal. I know you might see him and look at Manny and be like, that dude definitely listens to like
Nope.
Decapitated or some dying
Remember
fetus.
when Rosanna found out I didn't listen to her? She was like,
mine,
what?
Yeah. So people think that was an old friend of mine that met Manny and looked at him and was like, this guy's definitely into death metal. Manny's not into death metal at all. So this memory I have, we're in his old apartment and then we're watching the Beyond First time. I'm 16, so these are the years I was really into
formative
like horror,
years.
like really into like gory horror films and death metal. And I had never heard of Necrophagia, so the fact that this band melded the two things together, and I had discovered them by watching this video, and Phil Anselmo, I talked about it in the episode, but he was in the video playing guitar, and I was a Pantera fan. I was like, damn, this is sick. Like just seeing this crazy, weird Italian horror film and death metal combined, and the video being featured as a special feature in the DVD. And then I just remember Manny looking at me like, oh God, I hate this type of music. And like, it's just funny because to this day, there's people that like, I don't know, someone like in the last year or two were like, oh, your friend must like really like death metal or something. I forgot who told me. It's someone that Manny doesn't know. And I was like, no, I'm the guy that's into like death metal to this day. And Manny hates death metal. So yeah, Manny, after watching that video, was like, oh, I don't want to fucking watch. He was like, sure. He goes, whatever, we'll play it for you. I'll play it for you. He didn't want, he had no interest in listening to this, watching this video. But yeah, to go back to it, this movie introduced me to Fulci. And to Necrophagia, and it's just crazy to think how like
a formative moment of your life.
It's true. It's really
movie.
true.
Yeah.
Like death metal and horror movies kind of combined. At that point, the only guy really doing it, or the only two things I was listening to that were really doing that, was obviously White Zombie, Rob Zombie, and the Misfits. And then to see like, oh, this underground heavy shit is doing it too. I was like, nice. So there you go. But yeah, Manny, final thoughts. The Beyond.
I don't know. I love it. I love it. This was the second Fulci movie I'd ever seen. And it was like, I liked Zombie, and I've learned to love Zombie because again, when I was a kid, it scared me and I never finished it. When I was like 10, 12 years old, I never watched it all the way through. But this was the first one when I got this, because I had just really started my horror collection, and this was like, oh, this is really cool. I think I got this, The Beyond, I got the Maniac tin, and the Hellraiser tin, and these were like, wow, this is I was hoping that there would be a lot more movies that got released like this. I think there was an Evil Dead tin too, right?
There was. Yeah, they did a couple of releases of Evil Dead from what I remember. So
yeah, they only did a handful of these tins. I'm sure they were expensive to produce, and they probably didn't sell. Oh, there was let the corpses
let sleeping corpses lie.
That had a tin. That had a tin. At the same time, then there was the Wicker Man wood box. There was the Coffin Joe box set at that time,
Which was awesome, yeah.
And it was like, wow, there's really going to be some. So I started seeing all of these more infamous older films through these sorts of releases. So The Beyond was the first Fulci film I really watched. And I actually remember the first time I watched it. It was, I didn't even have a DVD player yet. I had a little laptop. And I put the DVD, it was my only way to watch DVDs. So I put the DVD in my laptop and I watched it with my headphones on. And just the opening scene, like
sold.
Chills. It was scary. It was legitimately scary. Like holy shit! Like I'm sitting there
forbidden.
wide.
It feels like a forbidden film at the time. I know the vibe you got.
Because like this was a movie that didn't exist here, and here I'm watching this, and I'm sitting literally in the living room in the old apartment, and I was living alone at the time. So it was just me in the apartment in my dark living room with a laptop sitting there, my headphones on, turned all the way up, and just the sound design and the music and everything was legitimately scary. Like I felt it. And that's where I fell in love with this and Fulci and everything. And then I found Argento after that, and I kind of went on the Argento train like a lot of people do.
Everyone goes through that,
yeah. Yeah, but over the last like maybe decade or so, I have gone back to the Fulci side.
You're a
Like
Fulci
Fulci's
guy.
100%. 100%.
I
I think Fulci was far above and beyond anything.
Fulci did
Argento
more.
was
Yeah.
Yes. Argento had gorgeous films, but he stopped
Fulci
making
did
good.
it all, man. Fulci did it all when you really think about it.
Fulci was making good movies all the way till the end. They weren't all great, but all the way up until he stopped making films, he was making good movies here and there. They were, I think Argento hasn't made a good movie in fucking 30 years. Unfortunately.
Yeah. My final thoughts, and I'll keep this nice and tight. So most people know Fulci for Zombie, right? Everyone, we said it earlier. That's the movie everyone knows him for.
That poster was iconic.
It was. The VHS, everything. It's still to this day, when you think of Fulci, people really think of Zombie. But I think The Beyond better represents the kind of films he truly wanted to make in the horror genre. Like this is what he wanted to do.
Completely agree.
Just weird, cerebral, nightmare-fueled shit is how I would describe it. At least
this is nightmare logic is what I call it. Nightmare logic.
This is what he wanted to make, and this film is that. It's like, I guess, the perfect Fulci film, in my opinion. And if you've never seen The Beyond, do yourself a favor right now. If you don't want to buy the box set, I get it. But go somewhere where it's streaming or rent it, or rent the VOD.
It's on Shudder, it's on Pluto.
Do yourself a
favor.
It's
on Tubi, it's on Screenbox.
It's everywhere.
It's on Bloodstream. I'm looking at the list.
No
it's on
excuse.
Fossum.
I'm pretty sure it's on YouTube illegally right now, too.
Yeah, but you can watch it for free on Tubi or Pluto TV right now.
Yeah. Do yourself a favor. Change that quick. Watch The Beyond. Manny and I highly recommend it.
And you will face the sea of darkness and all therein that may be explored.
So that was Lucio Fulci's The Beyond. Now, as a little bonus, if you're a member of the Patreon, the Haunted Hangover Patreon, if you're a Haunted Hangover hooligan tier member, Manny and I did a buzz commentary. We had a few. So forgive us if we say anything offensive. It's not too bad, I don't think.
I think Zombie Nightmare was...
Zombie Nightmare was worse. We did that last year. But yes, if you're a member, treat yourself to us drunk and talking shit about The Beyond in a very loving way. So that's out there for the members. Head over to the Patreon page. With that being said, be sure to subscribe, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Blue Sky, Facebook, all the social medias, all that good stuff at Haunted Hangover. Head over to hauntedhangover.com where you can find links to everything, including said Patreon page, where you can gain access to all the bonus content we have over there.
And make sure, wherever it is you're listening to us, rate and review us. Tell us how much you love The Beyond.
You better. And as always, remember, the best cure for a hangover is...
more booze.
And you will live in terror. Catch you guys later.